It seemed as if our system was failing every step of the way, making things harder, more painful, and adding to my grief. But at the same time, nothing surprised me. Nothing. I moved through the motions, numb, signing papers, making arrangements. Each task a heavy weight, dragging me deeper into a reality I didn't want to face. Grief, they say, comes in waves, unexpected times. Mine crashed over me, relentless and unforgiving. Sadness, deep and consuming, threatened to drown me. Anger, sharp and sudden, flared at the unfairness of it all. Guilt gnawed at the edges of my grief, the thought of his family not knowing of his passing, really bothering me. I would think of, had I said I love you enough? Had I been there enough? What could I have done differently? I knew the truth, but my heart said differently. Yet even in grief, life went on. My granddaughter, too young to grasp the finality of death, asked for her papa. Her innocence, a poignant reminder of the preciousness of life and the enduring power of love. I held her close, her small arms, a comforting weight around my neck. In that moment, I was not just a grieving caregiver. I was a protector, a shield against the harsh realities of the world. We released balloons into the bright blue sky, each one carrying a message of love for the man we had lost. My granddaughter's face a mixture of wonder and confusion, watched as the colorful orbs disappeared into the vastness. "Will Papa see them?" she asked, her voice small. "Yes," I whispered, my throat tight with unshed tears. "He'll see them." In the quiet moments when the world felt too big and my grief too heavy, I found solace in routine. Sharing stories of her grandfather, keeping his memory alive. Each anecdote, a precious thread connecting the past to the present. A few days after his passing, I needed to fill out paperwork, making arrangements. I had asked the hospital for his records. The hospital wouldn't give me any of his records, even though I was power of attorney. Once he died, that meant nothing. Another system failure. I checked to see if the crematorium had received my loved one. No, they actually couldn't find him. He had been misplaced. It took 2 days to find him. Another system broken. I called social services to see what was happening to my case. They said, "No word is a good thing." I said, "That's not enough. I wanted everything in writing." I kept fighting until I just couldn't fight anymore to get the paperwork. Another failure in our system. We had a small celebration of life for my family. Those were his wishes. We went to his favorite restaurant and shared some happier times. So many mixed emotions, anger for all that had happened, what the hospice had done, grief for the man I had lost so many years prior, sadness for my granddaughter. I had a book called My Papa Loves Me made. Just photos of the two of them, his dreams for her. She still will ask to see him. One of the gifts he told me when he was nice was, I gave him a family. He had no biological family. He felt very lucky to have my boys and my granddaughter. He also said he loved me and thought I was pretty, but that was short-lived. I did ask him to write my boys and granddaughter letters of what they meant to him. He spoke, I wrote, and typed his words. He was able to speak from his heart. I grabbed those moments. Those are the memories I hang on to. The world, it seemed, had an opinion on how I should grieve, making me want to isolate even more. Then the stories about how their loved one died. It wasn't a competition, but they couldn't possibly understand what I had been through. Sometimes I wanted to get out in breath. Some days I just wanted to stay in. I tried counseling again. Didn't work. My solace was school and my granddaughter. I still couldn't tell anyone that he had passed. I hung on to my promise for him, but this made things so much harder. It felt like I was living a lie. I still needed to honor his dignity, protect my family, and continue to wonder if I would hear from his family. And that answer was no, I wouldn't. Confusion of wanting to get out of the house and yet so tired. I couldn't do it, or just didn't want it. I honestly think I was so mentally exhausted I just needed time. I retreated inward, seeking inward thoughts and memories. The silence, once deafening, was now a source of comfort. It was in those quiet moments, away from the prying eyes and well-intentioned advice, that I began to find my own way through the labyrinth of grief. Joy came in the smallest things. So me and my granddaughter had to find our beautiful every day. My beautiful could be hard to find, but we continue every day to find our beautiful. Could be flowers, a newly painted house, a butterfly, anything. We found horses down the street that we bring carrots and apples to every week, a new joy. They see us coming, and my granddaughter beams as they gallop to our car. I found things that made me more at peace was being with nature. I would go visit the wild horses, and they would walk up to me and sit. It was my piece of heaven. It became a habit, but no food to be given with the wild ones. But they were not afraid of me, rather the opposite. If I played music, it had to be low volume and softer music. It was like my brain couldn't handle the stimulation. I went to a few meetings, but making Nevada a dementia-friendly state didn't really seem where my purpose was. But I started a process of writing our mayor, governor, senator, with generic responses, if any at all. But now I'm doing this with little expectations, nothing, and that's what I got, nothing. I felt he needed a voice. He had no voice.